Here's the thing. Your belief in yourself, that's the foundation of everything. Like, seriously, it's the base that everything else is built on. And I'm not just talking about confidence. No, I'm talking about that deep down, unshakable belief that says, I am enough. I've got this. Even if it's messy, even if I'm scared, I belong here. Because if you don't believe that, if you don't really feel that inside, then it doesn't matter how many compliments you get, how many followers you have, how many times people tell you you're talented. It's never going to be enough. You'll keep questioning yourself. You'll keep shrinking yourself to fit into places where you were actually meant to stand out. Think of it like building a house. If the foundation's cracked, it doesn't matter how beautiful the walls are, or how fancy the furniture is. It's unstable. One little storm and it all shakes. But when the foundation is solid, when your belief is solid, you can build as high as you want. Storms will still come, setbacks will still happen, but you won't crumble. You'll bend a little, sure, but you'll still be standing. And here's something we don't talk about enough. Belief isn't just something you wake up with one day. It's built. It's practiced. It's all those tiny moments when you choose to back yourself up, even when you're the only one doing it. It's saying, I'm not sure how this is going to work out, but I'm showing up anyway. Belief is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And yeah, there are going to be days when you feel weak, when that voice of doubt creeps in and tries to convince you that you're not ready, that you don't have what it takes. But that's exactly when you need to pause and remind yourself, I've been through too much to start doubting myself now. So if you're waiting for someone else to give you permission to believe in you, stop waiting. Give that to yourself. Right here, right now. Because once you truly believe in you, you're unstoppable. That belief, that's your foundation. Build it strong, build it steady, and everything else will rise from there. I really believe that every single person has a calling. Like, you were put here for a reason. And I'm not just saying that to sound deep or inspirational or anything. I mean it in a very real, very personal way. You have something inside you that's yours. A gift, a purpose, a light. Whatever you want to call it, it's there. And it's been there since the beginning. But here's the thing. A lot of people think a calling has to be some big, dramatic, world-changing thing, right? Like curing diseases or starting a billion-dollar company or being famous. But that's not true. Your calling could be to create, to heal, to lead, to teach, to nurture, to inspire, or even just to be the person who shows up for people when nobody else does. It doesn't have to be loud to be powerful. And sometimes, your calling isn't a job title. It's not, oh, I'm supposed to be a doctor, or I'm meant to be an artist. Sometimes it's a way of being. It's how you make people feel. It's the energy you bring into a room. It's the way you love people, the way you listen, the way you make people feel seen. But here's the catch. Your calling is not always obvious. It's not always going to tap you on the shoulder and announce itself. A lot of times, it whispers. It shows up in what excites you. It's in the things that light you up, The stuff you do when no one's paying you. The stuff that feels right even when it's hard. And you might be thinking, well, I don't know what my calling is yet. That's okay. Seriously, that's so okay. You don't have to have it all figured out today. But you do need to stay open. You need to pay attention to those little nudges, the ones that make you curious, the ones that make you want to learn more, go deeper, get better. Here's what's dangerous though. We get so caught up comparing ourselves to other people. We start thinking, well, she's doing that, so maybe I should be doing that too. Or, he's so successful at this, maybe that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And before you know it, you're chasing someone else's calling. But it doesn't work that way. You can't wear someone else's shoes and expect to run your race. Your calling is custom-made. It's built around your experiences, your struggles, your gifts, even your flaws. Nothing's wasted. Even the stuff you've been through that hurt, that's part of it too. It shapes you. It sharpens you. And when you do start stepping into your calling, when you really own it, there's a shift. You'll feel it. It's like life starts moving with you instead of against you. It won't always be easy, but it'll feel right. It'll feel aligned. So don't rush it. Don't force it. But don't ignore it either. Every person has a calling. And yes, that includes you. The world's waiting for you to answer it. Alright, so let's talk about failure for a minute. Because, oh boy, do we all have a complicated relationship with that word, right? Like, failure feels like this big, scary thing hanging over our heads, and we're all trying so hard to avoid it, to run from it, to pretend it's not going to happen to us. But here's the truth. Failure's not going anywhere. It's part of the deal. You can't grow, you can't stretch, you can't really live without bumping into failure along the way. It's just part of the process. And you know what? That's not a bad thing. Failure's not this dirty word we should be afraid of. It's a teacher. A tough one sometimes, yeah, but a teacher nonetheless. The problem is, a lot of us, we make the mistake of turning failures into labels. Like, oh, I failed at this, so I must be a failure. Or, I messed this up, so I must not be good enough. And that's where we go wrong. Because failing at something doesn't mean you are a failure. It just means you tried, you learned, and now you've got information you didn't have before. That's it. That's all it means. Think about it. Some of the most successful people in the world, they've failed more times than you can count. But the reason they succeeded isn't because they were lucky or perfect. It's because they didn't let failure define them. They didn't wear it like a name tag. They said, okay, that didn't work. Cool. What's next? What can I learn from that? But, yeah, I get it. Failure hurts. It stings. Especially when you put your heart into something and it falls apart. It feels personal. But feelings aren't facts. Just because you feel like a failure in that moment doesn't mean you are one. It just means you're human. And here's the thing, every failure is giving you feedback. It's teaching you something about yourself, about your craft, about what doesn't work, so you can get closer to what does. But you've got to be willing to see it that way. If you're busy beating yourself up, you'll miss the lesson. And the lesson is the gold. That's where the real growth happens. I always say, failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of success. You don't get one without the other. You fail, you learn, you adjust, you try again. That's how you build resilience. That's how you build character. So don't let a failed attempt turn into a life sentence. You're allowed to fail and still be worthy. You're allowed to fall short and still have big dreams. You're allowed to get it wrong and still get back up. Failures are lessons, not labels. Take the lesson, leave the label. You're not here to be perfect. You're here to grow. You know, there's this thing that doesn't get talked about enough when we're chasing dreams or building our lives. And that's intention. Like, not just what you're doing, but why you're doing it. And I'm telling you, once you get clear on your intention, once you really know the why behind your actions, everything shifts. Because here's the deal. It's not enough to just want something. We all want things, right? We want success. We want happiness. We want to feel fulfilled. But wanting isn't the same as being intentional. Intention is when you get laser focused on why you're doing what you're doing. It's like setting your internal GPS. Without it, you're just driving around, burning gas, going nowhere. And I know this might sound kinda woo-woo or whatever, but it's real. When you set an intention, you're telling the universe, and more importantly, yourself, this is what I'm about. This is what I'm moving towards. You align your energy, your focus, and your actions with that deeper purpose. And once that happens, things start to line up. It's not magic, but it feels like it sometimes. Here's a little example. Say you want to start a business. Cool. That's a goal. But what's the intention? Is it just to make money? Or is it to solve a problem, to bring value, to create something that matters? When you lead with intention, you move differently. You make better decisions. You attract the right people. You're not just chasing numbers. You're building something meaningful. And let me tell you, people can feel your intention. They can tell when you're coming from a place of authenticity versus when you're just winging it or doing something because that's what everyone else is doing. Intention has a vibe, has a weight to it. It grounds you, but you've got to check in with yourself often. It's easy to get off track. Life gets loud, distractions pop up, and before you know it, you're just going through the motions. That's why it's so important to pause and ask yourself, why am I really doing this? What's my true intention here? And here's another thing. Your intention doesn't have to be perfect. You're allowed to evolve. You're allowed to change your mind as you grow. But you've got to stay honest with yourself. If your intention is pure, if it's rooted in something real, like growth, love, service, creativity, then even when things get tough, you'll stay grounded. You won't be easily swayed by setbacks or critics. It's like, intention is the anchor that keeps you steady in the middle of chaos. When you're intentional, you're not just reacting to life. You're creating it. So yeah, the power of intention is real. It's not just a feel-good phrase. It's the blueprint for how you show up in the world. And when you get that intention locked in, When your actions, your mindset, and your heart are all pointed in the same direction, that's when things start to happen. That's when life starts moving with you, not against you. Set your intention. Speak it. Act on it. Live it. That's how you build a life that feels true. Okay, so let's be real for a second. We all want to be liked. We all want to be accepted, to feel like we belong, right? That's human. There's nothing wrong with wanting people to see you, to appreciate you, to clap for you every now and then. But, and this is a big but, when your self-worth starts depending on other people's approval, that's when it gets dangerous. That's when it starts messing with you. You can't build a life you're proud of if you're constantly looking over your shoulder, wondering what people think. Because let me tell you, no matter what you do, no matter how amazing you are, someone's not gonna get it. Someone's not gonna like it. And that's okay. That's not a reflection of your value. That's just life. The need for approval? It's sneaky. It shows up in little ways, like you're about to post something you're really proud of, but then you hesitate, thinking, what if people judge me? Or you have this big idea, but you hold back because you're waiting for someone to tell you it's a good idea. You know what I mean? It's that constant craving for a thumbs up, for a pat on the back, for someone else to tell you you're doing okay. But here's the truth. You don't need permission to be great. You don't need a green light from anyone to start living boldly. Because the thing is, people's opinions are so fleeting. One day they love you, the next day they're onto something else. You can't build your confidence on something that's unstable. That's like building a house on sand. You've got to approve of yourself. You've got to look in the mirror and decide, you know what? I'm enough. I'm not perfect, but I'm real. And that's what matters. That's self-approval. That's the kind of validation that sticks. That's the kind of approval no one can take away from you. And look, letting go of the need for approval doesn't mean you stop caring about people. It doesn't mean you get arrogant or stop listening to feedback. Not at all. It just means you stop living for their applause. You stop shrinking yourself to fit into boxes they've built for you. You start moving from a place of self-trust instead of self-doubt. You know that saying, you can be the juiciest, ripest peach in the world, and there's still going to be someone who hates peaches? Yeah, that. No matter how hard you try, you're never going to be for everyone. And you weren't meant to be. You're meant to be true to yourself, to your values, to your purpose. The people who are meant for you will find you. The rest, let them scroll by. So, stop waiting for the approval that you don't even need. Approve of yourself. Give yourself the applause, the encouragement, the permission to take up space. When you let go of needing approval, you free yourself to actually live. Boldly, fully, unapologetically. And that's when the magic happens. You know, gratitude is one of those things that sound simple, right? Like, we all know we should be grateful. We've heard it 1,000 times. Be thankful for what you have. But here's what people don't always realize. Gratitude isn't just about being polite or having good manners. Gratitude is powerful. It's like this amplifier that takes what you already believe about yourself and about your life and cranks up the volume. When you start to practice real gratitude, not just going through the motions, but really feeling it, it changes the way you see yourself. It changes how you see what you're capable of. It's like this lens that shifts your focus from what I'm lacking to look at what's already within me. And that, my friend, is where belief starts to grow. Because let's be honest, it's really easy to get stuck in the loop of, I'm not there yet. You're looking at what you haven't achieved, what you don't have, who you aren't, and it makes you feel small. It makes you doubt. But the moment you pause and start counting what's already good, already working, already growing, even if it's small, that's when something shifts inside you. You realize, hey, I've come further than I thought. I've got more to work with than I give myself credit for. Gratitude magnifies belief because it forces you to acknowledge progress. It's easy to overlook your own growth when you're always comparing it to some huge goal that feels far away. But gratitude pulls you back into the present. It says, hey, look how far you've come. Look at what you've built already. Look at the strength you've gained. And when you see yourself clearly, when you recognize your own journey with a grateful heart, your belief in yourself naturally starts to rise. You stop being so fixated on, I need to be better, and you start celebrating, I'm already becoming. It's like this, when you're grateful for the little wins, the universe has a way of sending you more to be grateful for. It's not magic, it's mindset. You see opportunities you'd normally miss because you're not stuck in a scarcity loop. You move differently. You start acting like someone who believes they're already enough, and that energy, It's magnetic. But you've got to practice it, though. Gratitude isn't just for the good days when everything's going right. The real power comes when you can be grateful even in the hard seasons. Even when things are messy, or slow, or uncertain. That's when gratitude builds resilience. That's when it strengthens your belief, because you're choosing to trust that the best is still unfolding, even if you can't see it yet. So yeah, if you want to magnify your belief, start with gratitude. Not as some cute little morning ritual, though that's fine too, but as a way of living. A way of reminding yourself daily, I'm blessed, I'm growing, I'm becoming. Gratitude turns belief from a whisper into a roar. Try it. You'll see. Alright, let's talk about something that, honestly, not enough people talk about when they're chasing success. And that's the idea of lifting others as you rise. You know, it's so easy to get caught up in the grind, focused on your own goals, your own dreams, your own journey, that sometimes we forget. Success feels a whole lot better when you bring people with you. Like, think about it. What's the point of reaching the top of the mountain if you're standing up there all by yourself? What's the joy in winning if you've got no one to celebrate with? No one who gets it because they've been climbing right alongside you. We live in this world that, for some reason, loves to push this every man for himself narrative. Like, I gotta get mine first, and maybe I'll help others later. But that mindset, it's lonely. And honestly, it's limiting. Because when you lift others as you rise, you create this ripple effect that makes your success even bigger, even sweeter. And it's not just about grand gestures, either. You don't have to be a millionaire or some big-shot CEO to lift someone up. It can be as simple as sharing knowledge, opening a door for someone that was once shut on you, cheering them on when they're doubting themselves, mentoring someone who reminds you of yourself when you were just starting out. Those little things, they matter. They add up. But you know what else? Lifting others doesn't take away from your own success. It's not a pie where giving someone a slice means you get less. In fact, the opposite happens. When you lift others, you build a community. You build trust. You build relationships that come back to support you in ways you don't even see coming. Plus, let's be real, none of us gets where we're going alone. Somewhere along the way, someone believed in you. Someone gave you a shot. Someone helped you when they didn't have to. So why wouldn't you pass that forward? And here's the magic part. When you lift others as you rise, it actually grounds you. It keeps you humble. It keeps you connected to your why. Success without purpose can feel empty, but when you know you're not just rising for yourself, but you're making the path easier for the ones coming after you, that's purpose. That's legacy. Also, and this is important, lifting others doesn't mean you have to carry their entire load. You're not responsible for fixing everyone's life. But if you can be a hand, a voice, an example, or even just a source of encouragement, that's powerful. That's enough. So yeah, as you climb, don't forget to look around. Who's watching you? Who's right behind you, trying to find their own footing? Reach back. Offer them a hand. Share what you've learned. Celebrate their wins as hard as you celebrate your own. Because when one of us rises, we all rise. That's how real success works. It's not a race to the top. It's a journey. And it's so much better when you don't rise alone. So, here's what I want you to remember as you walk out of here today, or even just as you take that next step in your life. Believe in you. Not in some surface level, yeah, I'm kinda confident, way. I mean, really believe in who you are. Because everything we've talked about, your foundation, your calling, your failures, your intentions, gratitude, letting go of approval, lifting others up, it all comes back to this one thing. You've got to believe that you are enough right now as you are. Yeah, you're still growing. You're still learning. You're still figuring things out. And that's okay. But don't wait until you've got it all together to start showing up fully. Don't wait for someone to give you permission to own your power. You've had it all along. The world doesn't need a watered-down version of you. It doesn't need you to hide behind doubt or fear of judgment. What it needs is for you to stand up, fully present, fully yourself, knowing that your voice, your gifts, your being, they all matter. And as you rise, as you step into that space of belief, don't forget to reach back. Help someone else see their light too. Because that's how we change the world. One person lifting another, and another, and another, until we all realize we were powerful all along. So today, I'm asking you to make a choice. Choose to believe in you. Choose to move forward, even when it's scary. Choose to live with intention. Choose gratitude. Choose courage over approval. Choose to be a lifter. Because once you believe in you, truly, fully, unapologetically, there's nothing you can't do.